Ma'am, kindly start. Thank you.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
I will start with few lines. मेरी मंजिल मेरा हौसला देखकर, डर मुझे भी लगा फासला देखकर, पर मैं बढ़ता गया रास्ता देखकर, खुद ब खुद मंजिल मेरे नजदीक आती गई, मेरी मंजिल मेरा हौसला देखकर. Good afternoon, one and all present here on behalf of Women Pediatric Forum in this beautiful rainy noon. We are hosting today dual activities on this platform. First, we will launch the most awaited magazine, our We Connect second quarterly issue publication, our own publication. Second will be monthly webinar tete-a-tete session by legendary speaker Dr. Asha Benakappa ma'am, where she will share her journey of transformation by strong willpower, determination, and dedication. I have given these lines for only and only Asha Benakappa ma'am, and I will repeat again at the end. With due permission from our chairperson, Dr.Sangita Lodha ma'am, we are starting today's program. Now I invite Dr. Sangita Lodha ma'am for her welcome address.
Good afternoon to all of you. I am so delighted that today we are going to introduce our second issue of official publication of Women Pediatricians Forum, We Connect. And along with that, this is the sixth tete-a-tete program where Dr. Asha Benakappa, who is the legendary star of Women Pediatricians Forum, is our guest today. And she is presenting tete-a-tete in a, I think, totally different way. This is a suspense, I can say. And apart from that, which is in our WPF, and the whole program will be handled by Dr. Preeti Galagali and Dr. Himabindu Singh and Dr. Poonam Bhatia. So we are starting the program, and I request Dr. Preeti Galagali to take over the charge.
Let me introduce Preeti Galagali ma'am first. She needs no introduction. She is renowned adolescent health specialist and member of Adolescent Health Committee of the International Pediatric Association and co-chairperson of Education Committee, International Association of Adolescent Health. She has been CIAP-EB member for year 2015 and 2022. With this, I hand over to Dr. Preeti Galagali ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anuradha and Dr. Sangita, for your warm encouragement for all that we do in We Connect. So, and also a big thanks to the team, Women's Pediatrician Forum. Today at WPF, we celebrate the energy, the passion, and the potential of the youth. We all know that youth are the architects of today's and tomorrow's world. Not often people listen to the youth as an equal partner. But at WPF, we begin the change. We begin probably the first health professional organization to launch a meaningful youth engagement program where we not only listen to them, we share information with them. We listen to their voices. We give them the freedom of choice and decision-making power, and thereby nurture responsibility too as well. Meaningful youth engagement is an extremely important program of the World Health Organization to nurture the potential of youth. The youth editorial board, there were 40 applicants, and all the applicants were fantastic from different parts of the world and also in different arena. It was a tough job for Dr. Himabindu Singh, Dr. Poonam Bhatia, also for Dr. Ritu and Shailaja Mane, and for myself to choose the best 9. We had a tough time, but we did. We evaluated their applications, and we also did a one-on-one interview with them. And yes, start getting amazed. We have the best from medicine, from management, and literature. You must be wondering, what would this youth editorial board do? Well, the youth editorial board is definitely going to work hand in hand in the publication of We Connect. Not only that, they would be taking out and publishing a special issue of the youth edition of We Connect during the International Adolescent Health Week, which is being celebrated from 7th to 13th October. And in the meantime, They're also going to lead youth-led programs wherever they are. So some of the programs that they have actually already organized, are in the process of organizing, are CPR programs, BLS programs, programs regarding sexuality for school children, and also regarding menstrual education. And we hope to see them much more in our webinars because they are now a part of the Women's Pediatrician Forum. And now I request Pallavi Madam to please play the introductory video as we all put our hands together for them and pray for more power to the youth, more to women, and more to humanity. Thank you so much, Pallavi Madam. So you would all agree with me that we have such a vibrant youth power behind the WPF now. And I must also share with you that this video has been made by the youth editors themselves. So I would again ask you to give them a big round of applause. It has been a tough time for all of us in the past few weeks. And as we look for solutions, as we brainstorm reasons, we also look up to our youth to help us in this. How can we collaborate with them? How can we do things together? Were some of the thoughts which were going in our mind. Dr. Harshita Umesh, who leads the publication committee, and Dr. Sanjana, who leads the media committee of the Youth Editorial Board, could not be here today. But we have a very vibrant members, their colleagues, to share their thoughts. And now I would ask young Tanisha to share her thought in a minute or so to tell us how can we make interventions to prevent gender-based violence. Over to you, Tanisha.
Thank you so much, Preeti ma'am. First of all, when we look at accounts of gender-based violence, the first thing we think is, oh God, they could have been someone's mother, someone's sister, someone's daughter. It is never just that they were someone who didn't deserve this because they're human. I firmly believe gender-based violence will only end when we look upon victims as human beings and individuals in their own right and not in association to someone else. When we acknowledge that everyone has the right to feel safe and valued, not because someone else is waiting up for them, but as people who have their own hopes, fears, choices, and dreams, that is when we can make a change. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful, Tanisha, spoken right from the heart. And now I would request Sanat to share his thoughts. Sanat?
Sanat, you are mute. Sanat, you are
Unmute
mute.
yourself. Unmute.
I'm really sorry. Thank you, Preeti ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. So I'll be mainly speaking about the need of the safe workspace and safe environment in preventing gender-based violence. For this, I'd like to take two very important examples from the near past, which were highlighted. One being our greatest Olympian Vinesh Phogat, and one more being Abhaya, the Kolkata rape victim. Indeed, these two examples are clear enough that two biggest professions in India, athletes and doctors are not safe in their workspace, and you cannot expect them thriving and bringing excellence towards us. So, with this, I'd like to highlight the need for safe environment. So, firstly, what all can be done? With the advancement of technology, we clearly have access to CCTV, and our Supreme Court judge made it clear that not just the office or workspace, but the entire state can come under CCTV control. So having CCTV controls and having zero tolerance policies is the need of the hour right now, and we must have support networks and safe spaces so that people can open up. And when people open up, we must make sure that their voice is heard and they're not repressed. So I think safe space and safe environment is the need of the hour, and is rightly sticking with this year's youth theme as well, that it is not about mere surviving, but thriving. So creating a safe environment can definitely help one thrive, and not just live in a fear of merely surviving. So thank you. I think we will have to create better safe space and safe environment so that we can bring the best of everyone and every profession per se. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sanat. That was really sensitive and emphasizing on the importance of safety, which is so very important. And now let's see what Vijay Varshini has to share with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. I am really happy and excited to be here. So today I'm going to talk about eradicating GBV, gender-based violence, at the grassroots level. So eradication of gender-based violence, or any problem for that matter, needs to be addressed at the grassroots level. The first step towards prevention of GBV should be to mobilize children regarding this issue. Sensitizing children on GBV helps them recognize and understand harmful behaviors and attitudes from an early age. Lessons on gender equality, respect for others, and healthy relationships can shape children's attitudes, reducing the likelihood of them engaging in or tolerating GBV. By educating children on how to seek help, we empower them to support themselves as well as others who are affected by GBV. Challenging stereotypes by addressing and deconstructing gender stereotypes and biases helps prevent the perpetuation of harmful norms that contribute to GBV. All this can be simply achieved through interactive plays and engaging games in such a way that eradication of GBV gets etched in each and every child's mind. I would like to conclude by saying, break the silence and the violence. Stand against gender-based violence today. Thank you.
Fantastic, Vijay Varshini, for emphasizing that the prevention of gender-based violence starts in childhood itself. And now it's over to Jyotirmay. We are looking forward to listening to your thoughts, Jyoti.
Thank you. So I've looked up at strong women all my life, especially when realization struck me that strong women are so much more than just strong. They have this certain air of grace, intelligence, fearlessness, the nerve to say no and take no for an answer. And women are the very backbone, the very foundation of society, and their well-being is the most crucial indicator of whether a society is harmonious, whether it's strong or otherwise. Which is why, in the light of recent events, we are left with a lot of questions. Are we safe? Are our women safe? Are our doctors safe? And a question that bears much more gravity is, our society safe? So, well, the answer to these questions starts small. I'm here to tell what I think we can do as a person at an individual level. So we can start with just being human, just being kind. And for a happy-go-lucky person like me, it starts with acknowledging that there is this lurking danger. It does exist. And that the palpitation that we feel in late-night hospital rounds is justified. And by not stopping there, but going ahead and starting to be on a lookout for signs of violence, for signs of threats, of toxicity, not only around us, around our friends, around the women that surround us, and around other doctors, irrespective of their gender. So it begins with building an immediate support system whenever we identify these signs of toxicity, and then by clearly communicating that we do have a community that cares about us, that cares for our well-being, and that will not stay quiet if anything happens to us. So what we can start, I believe, is now is the time to act. This is a catalyst to act. We can no longer say we're going to take self-defense classes. We have to start learning self-defense. We have to make sure that we can subtly and swiftly communicate to our emergency contacts in case we are ever in danger. And there is no better place to start this epicenter of wave than this community right here of pediatricians, talented, strong, amazing pediatricians who inspire me, who I looking forward to, the whole team is looking forward to getting to know more. And I hope that we can start a wave that makes sure that we have supporting systems locally as well as a community overall in the country. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyotirmay, to tell us, to make us go into the action mode. Thanks so much. And Sanjana, as I said, is leading the publication committee. She could not be here with us today, but she has shared her video. I would request Pallavi Madam to please play her video.
Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana and I'll be talking about gender-based violence and its prevention. Gender-based violence is basically any kind of harm that is physical, emotional, psychological or sexual inflicted on someone because of their gender. And even though it disproportionately affects more women and marginalized genders, it can happen to anybody else as well. When I hear about cases like Nirbhaya and Abhaya that recently happened in Kolkata, I get disgusted by its brutality and ashamed that human cruelty and inhuman actions have reached such a new level. It's upsetting to hear that after 12 years after Nirbhaya, we are still witnessing yet another heinous crime against women. As long as there aren't stricter laws to protect the innocents and stricter punishments to penalize the wrongdoers, more such incidents will be happening. So what is the solution to this? How do we break the chain? How can we better the situation and bring about the much needed change? According to me, this can be done when we start speaking out at the smallest sign of gender-based violence and not wait until something extremely terrible has happened to speak out. No violence should be tolerated, be it domestic violence or rape and murder. No issue is insignificant. Large-scale improvement is possible only when change is made on a small scale, and often what we consider as small-scale or insignificant issue can manifest itself into something bigger if not remedied. I'm sure that we have encountered multiple cases of violence against women on a daily, and sometimes we have to question ourselves. Have we reacted to it? How many times have we tried to prevent it to the best of our strengths? It's important as individuals to take a stand whenever possible, spread awareness and demand justice. It's crucial to take small-scale actions to not let such incidents happen again in the future.
Wasn't that simply fantastic? I would say that you've heard them, what they want, and it is up to us now to listen to them, to partner with them, to make this world, our Mother Earth, a better place to live in. And now, quickly, a little bit of the statistics. The gender-based violence is in fact a global pandemic. 1 in 3 women are facing gender-based violence. And as said, gender-based violence can be physical, sexual, emotional, and even financial or economic. Both developed and developing countries are facing it. What is the solution? Some of the solutions we've heard from the young people, but let me tell you, the research says it has to be a community-based, multi-pronged approach with sustained engagement of multiple stakeholders, including doctors, including community, including youth, including the lawmakers, including the government, including the policymakers. And what is the most effective way of prevention? It is by changing the social norms. What are the gender roles? What is acceptable in the society? Is violence the way of life? These are some hard-hitting questions, and we need to handle each one of these questions very, very carefully. On behalf of the Youth Editorial Board and We Connect, we invite you to a panel discussion during the International Adolescent Health Week on preventing gender-based violence, the challenges and the opportunities. During the week, we also invite you for the release of the special issue, and we invite each one of you to spread the message of the poster competition which we are conducting. That is basically, I'm talking on the behalf of the Youth Editorial Board. The Youth Editorial Board is conducting a wonderful poster competition which is based on the theme of the International Adolescent Health Week, as Sanath mentioned, thriving, not just surviving, building adolescents' resilience. So join us in changing the world. Thank you very much once again, Anuradha, Sangita, Team WPF for giving us this opportunity, and a big round of applause to my amazing youth editorial board for their fantastic thoughts which they shared with us. And now it is a great honor and privilege to ask my colleague, my friend, and my partner in crime, should I say, not really, in doing good work, Dr. Poonam Bhatia, to be with us and announce the release of the second issue of We Connect. Over to you, Poonam.
Thank you so much, Preeti. And everyone can, I think, palpate the energy you have. And I was thinking that I'll talk about the palpable energy of youths, but beforehand, I have to talk about you. So today, on the launch of our second edition of We Connect, which is with the theme We Care, I have mixed feelings. Like I'm hearing everybody is talking about Abhaya. So I must recognize the profound grief and anger we all hold for the Abhaya murder case. And in face of this tragedy, I think WPF as a whole stands united and advocates for the society. Like somebody said, it has to be zero tolerance. The policy has to be zero tolerance. So the WPF advocates for the society that values and protects their healers, their doctors, and every woman on this earth. So I was telling about the mixed feelings. So I'm thrilled to welcome the youth editors for partnering with us in the journal We Connect. And all of you would have heard these super bright minds and the ideas they have. So we have to uplift our energy and match their energy too. So I call upon Dr. Sangita to launch the journal We Connect with the theme We Care. Thank you.
Dr. Pallavi ji?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can
Sharing the screen.
Yeah, just you start, I will press the button. You just start it.
And as things are getting started, we would like to acknowledge with heartfelt gratitude the contribution of Dr. Hima Bindu Singh. She is not only the founder chairperson of the WPF, but she has provided rock solid support to each and every initiative that we have taken under We Connect, and she has been our guiding light. Thank you very much, Dr. Hima Bindu Singh. Thanks a lot.
I'm very happy to see WPF growing up and having wings under leadership of Dr. Sangita. And I also would like to thank Dr. Preeti and also Poonam. Wonderful job in the editorial board of the We Connect. This was our idea. We have sowed the seeds and it is growing so well. I'm very, very happy to see this. Thank you so much. And now let's see this, the launch of this We Connect. Dr. Sangita, through your hands. Second
Yes,
edition.
yes.
So the theme is rightly selected, We Care. Sangita?
Yes, yes. I'm just playing it.
You can just keep on switching on
Yeah.
like pages and then focus on the last page.
I think the cover page, I would like to thank Dr. Poonam, who's been
Yes.
so artistic, always selects, and it's so beautiful, so feminine, purple, and so artistic. And really appreciate you, Poonam, for all the creativity you have. You are
Pallavi,
the
will you
star.
please do from your side?
I did design this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Clicking on the next pages now.
Okay.
Yes.
Keep on flipping.
Yeah. So this is a team. And the topics chosen also well.
Selected team.
Yes.
And then next place.
Message
So
from
the
the
message
chairperson.
from me and then from Dr. Rupal Dalal.
Yes,
The
the
theme.
theme-based articles, the theme-based article on metabolic health. Since we focused on holistic health, so the first article is from Dr. Rupal.
Yes.
And this is the holistic health view of Dr. Sonia Bhatt, Thriving for Wellness. Keep on flipping.
Next, please.
Yes.
Detail.
So this is again holistic medicine from pinhole to panoramic view. And she's working in a hospital where she has shared all the information, how the Ayurveda has helped her in attaining the holistic health.
This is
Now the digital wellness for family by Dr. Asha Benakappa. Yes. And this is a brief biosketch of woman of substance, Dr. Susan Swear. The trailblazer, Dr. Prachi Banjania. Preeti, would you like to add something regarding Prachi?
Well, Prachi is a daughter of Dr. Ramesh Bajania, which you all know. Yes.
Yeah.
And she is an award-winning filmmaker. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. You all have to read her story to really understand the aspirations of a child of a pediatrician. And this is my teacher, Dr. Mridula Fadke, the teacher of teachers, and she has shared with us her pearls of wisdom. The woman of substance, Dr. Susan Swire, and another woman of substance, Dr. Ritu Vyas. And this is all the work which Ritu Vyas does, some fantastic work. And this is a wonderful and a powerful article by Dr. Pukhraj Bafana, that how we should take up arms. As Sanath said, it's not only, I think one of them said, not Sanath, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Vijay Varshini said, it's not only about learning self-defense, also, and one of the ways to protect ourselves.
So rise up and embrace your power.
Yes.
Then this is Young Professional Connect.
Yeah, go ahead, Budam, go ahead.
So this is from Nimrat Sindhu, a social work, a pediatrician who is doing a lot of social work. Like we are saying, you should start from home. So she does a lot of work for the people or for the women around her. And this is the column of Fun with Creativity, the stories to research, Fun with Creativity by Dr. Mridul Sarvamangla. And you can see beautiful paintings. And she's a Bharatnatyam dancer also.
Oh, nice.
Beauty battles, Preeti, you have to speak about it.
This is our story, Mridula's story, and a story of each one of us. So go ahead and read it.
Yes.
This is the challenges faced by a young adolescent with a chronic liver disorder, Dr. Neelam Mohan's patient, and very nicely, the young person has told about the challenges that such people face. And this is our magnificent editorial board. Next page, please. And then all about Goa Conclave, the triumphs and the jubilations. Next page, please. Yeah, and these are our zonal activities, some wonderful pictures, which you can all go through at leisure. Should we stop here, Poonam? I think we'll just stop here. Yes. And in the end, we have a few achievements. Yes. Yeah.
One more.
Yes. So these are our achievers, which we have. Yes. One more, last page.
One more.
Yeah, and this is a poster mania, the competition which we were talking about, and we will share with you all the details on all the groups. So please go ahead and share it with young people. We expect lots and lots of entries. So thank you once again, Sangita, Anuradha, and the team WPF. Thank you very much on behalf of Dr. Hima Bindu Singh, Dr. Poonam, and the entire team. Thank you so much. We are
Big hand
really
of applause for the team of We
as our
Connect.
encourager. Thank you. Thank you.
Now,
Really, the topics are well
over to
chosen.
Dr.
I hope everybody will enjoy it. Congratulations to the whole team. Thank you.
Yes. Over to Dr. Anuradha.
Yes. Congratulations to all of us for the release of second issue of We Connect. Now coming to the second part of today's webinar, our guest speaker for today is Dr. Asha Benakappa ma'am. Success in life is a continuous journey, not a destination. Every step of the path has to be celebrated. There are some people who have great vision, willpower, determination, and dedication to sail through this path. Dr. Asha Benakappa ma'am is one of them, whose untiring efforts are a source of great motivation to us and youngsters. To conduct the session, we have a brilliant moderator, Dr. Anita K. She is MD Pediatrics, Assistant Professor at Department of Pediatrics, BMCRI Medical College. Over to you, Dr. Anita K. Ma'am. Also, she is having multiple publications. She is very brilliant academician, Dr. Anita K. She is our moderator.
Good afternoon, one and all. At the very outset, I would like to thank Dr. Asha Benakappa ma'am, fondly called as AB ma'am, for introducing me to this wonderful forum and for making me a moderator for a session by my most favorite teacher. So I'm truly blessed and honored. I would also like to thank Dr. Anuradha ma'am, Dr. Sangita Lodha ma'am, and the entire team WPF for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Coming to introducing AB ma'am to you all. Can I have the slide, please? Well, so AB ma'am actually needs no introduction. So the slide, yeah, ma'am's introductory slide.
AB ma'am is something new for us. We only know her as Asha ma'am.
AB ma'am is what her students fondly call her as. So AB ma'am needs no introduction. So this slide that you're going to see right now is just like a bird's eye view of Madam's achievements through the years, her decades in pediatrics. So Madam's passion for teaching and her dedication towards her patients has inspired me in many ways that I cannot just put in words right now. So today is a great day for all of us to learn more about AB ma'am as she takes us through her journey of trials, tribulations, triumphs, and triumphs. So I request you all to put the questions in the chat box so that we have an uninterrupted flow of thoughts. So now over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that brilliant introduction. We are well on time. I'm spellbound with those youngsters, Preeti. What a fabulous team. Hearty congratulations, Poonam Bhatia. And now I'll start off, zoom off like. Can you see my PPTs? Hello, everyone. Can you see my PPTs?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam, come to slideshow mode.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, click on the slideshow button.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Very important.
Just give me a minute.
Now the platform is your, ma'am. Take your own time.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. It is full screen now. Perfect.
Okay.
Kindly go ahead.
Somebody's voice is there. I would like to stand and offer my tribute and intolerance to Abaya. Let this picture remind us always of what is happening all the time. I believe a lot in solitude because many youngsters are here and people think I'm an achiever and I've succeeded a lot. Please go through this poem by Khalil Gibran because I want time for my other things. But remember, solitude is a silent storm that breaks down all our dead branches. Yet it sends our living roots deeper into the living art of the living earth. People struggle to find life outside themselves, unaware that the life they are seeking is within them. Nature reaches out to us with welcome arms and bids us enjoy its beauty. but we dread its silence and rush into crowded cities, there to huddle like sheep fleeing from a ferocious wolf. What I want all the youngsters to know is we can still exist in solitude. This was supposed to be the title of my biography. Somehow I have not been able to do it yet, but anyway, this is it. And I come from a joint family. My name is Dodda Mane. We were immigrants from Bijapur, and this is our family home. And I love my name. I come from that village called Dodda Mane, a joint family in Benakanahalli. I was a prisoner of birth. I was born to this young couple, and I was born within 10 months of their marriage to a young lady at 17 years of age. She had lost her mother to postpartum hemorrhage. And my father, Dr. Benakappa, you all know, had left the Indian shores to learn about pediatrics. And this is my birth certificate, which you can see. And I was born in a private, delivered by a midwife called Ratnama Isaac. Her daughter-in-law, Padmini Isaac, is a well-known name. I've gone through a lot of tragedies and turbulence in my life. This is my young sister, Asha Benakappa, whom I lost her. She's 8 years younger than me. At the age of 13 years, she was electrocuted while having bath. It was so unfortunate. There used to be a diary, and she asked me to write something in her diary, and I wrote that life is uncertain and death is certain. And I had explained to her what it meant, and alas, the next day morning, she was dead. She died on a Shivaratri day, and after that, my father forbade us to celebrate any festivals. I would like to talk about my paternal grandmother, who was herself a widow. She lost her husband, who made 19 suicidal attempts. And then he died because he did not like the family breaking up, the joint family breaking up. And then I was under her care, and she did not have much education. And this was my maternal grandfather, who lost his wife when my mother was born. He was a barrister of law. He was well connected with the Mysore Maharaja. And then I was yo-yoed between the maternal home and the paternal home, depending on the availability of the caretakers. I had a terribly inconsistent upbringing. Why am I talking about my grandmother? I was never breastfed. I was never immunized. My father used to send feeding bottles, nipples, and formula by ship. And that would reach my grandfather, Mr. L. Siddappa, who was a minister in the erstwhile government of Karnataka. And then once I was crying a lot, they got fed up. I was huddled into a bullock cart and sent to my father's place, that is my grandmother, in Benakanahalli. And she did not know the cat stole the nipple, and she did not know when she put the new nipple that there was no hole in it. And I kept on crying for the first 24 to 48 hours. And she kept on pouring hot castor oil to my ears. I have managed to salvage the left ear. I'm totally deaf on my right ear. So this is the story I had to tell you. And this frustrated widower would always, he was very angry with me because I was constantly crying. I came up with a very inconsistent upbringing. I never knew English. I had to react and talk to a brother who came back from UK speaking high-flown English. I was made to read and learn my English by listening to the radio on British broadcast BBC News. I learned my English thus. You all know that my father was one of the stalwart or the first pediatrician of Karnataka. And he was, all these big names in the pediatrics used to come to our house. And he was very, very particular about the women pediatrician who would come as examiners. They would always stay with us in our home because he was concerned about their safety, etc. I mean, those were the days where there's so much of connection. I studied in 3 medical colleges and 3 different universities. So even my medical education was very inconsistent. And note that I was a gold medalist in first MBBS. My father came to know that my roommate was a drug addict when I was studying my MBBS in JNMC. And he immediately got me, he pulled his political clout and got me shifted out to Bangalore Medical College. And then This is it. Despite being a gold medalist, did not get a PG seat. I am a victim of the policies of the country. When people talk about caste, reservation and all that, it hurts me a lot. I was so depressed when I did not get a seat. And then Mr. Shamnu Shankarpa is my savior. But for him, I would not have been a pediatrician. I wrote a letter to my father that if I don't get a PG seat, I'll kill myself. So he moved heaven and earth. And this man is now 94 years, the father of Shaila Bhattacharya, who's our pediatric endocrinologist. He ensured that I got a seat in MD pediatrics. And people keep saying, looking at my previous body, how can she have been a sports person? Remember, I was a sports person. I used to pay for the Karnataka. We were the one who played the Karnataka cricket team. I've taken part in track events. I was called the track queen, etc. Professor Nirmala Kesari taught me social pediatrics and community concerns. She grouped me only for 9 months because at the age of 55, she wanted to pursue her ambition to become a pediatric neurologist, and she left me. And you all know she died in April 2016. And we were so close. Every day she would call me up and we would talk to each other. And it was so terrible when she didn't recognize me. She died of Alzheimer's. This was a journal club article in MD that ignited my interest in breast milk, because I felt, let me take up something where I'll become a global person and where I will reach the community, and teaching breastfeeding and working on it would make a lot of difference. I went to US, give a breath and save a life. And that time, Rosita Phildes wanted me to stay back. I came back to this country and said nothing of that sort. My country matters a lot. And I used to be ridiculed for wearing sari through all my rounds. And Rosita Phildes offered me the post because there was something called as grand rounds. And I had scored 99 for 100. And I could not recognize the HIV slide. I was with Dr. Bhutani. I had put Bhutani curves. I don't want to be naughty here. And you must have known all about him. I worked with all these wonderful people. But the life changer was my membership in the Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India. I have still preserved this receipt. And I did not have 250 rupees to pay for membership. I acknowledge Dr. Suresh Babu, my teacher, who paid the membership fees and refused to take the money from me. And then Dr. Arun Gupta, he's an extremely focused man, the man who changed my destiny. I want you to know that Dr. N.B. Kumta was there. I was getting lots of awards for my work on breastfeeding. And then this is Patty Nindal of Baby Milk Action, who's recovered from lymphoma and continues to work about the baby milk formulas. She's a pioneer in advocating action against breast milk substitutes. And there is Teddy Grainer, who's done a lot of work in breastfeeding and HIV. I just sent him a message in the morning and I told him, I'm putting up your picture and all that. He sent me a fabulous message, which I want to share later. I was discussing with all these people about labor loss and maternity leave. So many people claim that they have done 6 months maternity leave. We also have worked. I have worked with Akipiki Colony to know the best feeding practices in tribals, presented a poster in an international conference. And this is, it is the cities that have invaded and spoiled their practices. The front picture of that was the mother with the Hakipiki Colony. Rupal will have 100 comments on the positioning and attachment, but this is how it was. I developed a flip chart. Necessity is the mother of invention, I feel, to teach and train when successive heads and subordinates did not cooperate. Nobody encouraged me. My father's own successors, his students, they did not encourage me. Once I had to take a class on for the breastfeeding week, and I went to Bowling at 80% Hospital. Dr. Anita knows about that incident. And people were waiting. The head of the department had closed the door so that I could not conduct my session. There are times when I've sat below and done this, and that's how I was able to do this flip chart, which was very, very popular. I wanted the ANMs to carry. We don't need any gadgets to promote breastfeeding. As long as there's a woman and as long as she breasts, breastfeeding should be universalized, just like breastfeeding has universal mankind.
Asha ma'am,
Yes?
Asha ma'am,
Yeah.
your voice is breaking.
Okay.
Previously,
Sonika,
it was clear. Previously, it was clear.
now?
No.
Sonika,
And
can I
Ma'am,
stop it? Now?
how it is better.
a little loud, I want your voice, little louder.
Okay. Now?
No, ma'am, it is echoing.
Let's go. Okay. 1 minute, just give me a minute.
Better.
It's okay now. It's okay now.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. And during one of, in the garment factory, I met a person called Stella, which is a pseudonym. She was so impressed with my talk and she wanted to breastfeed a baby. Unfortunately, as a part of domestic violence, her husband threw kerosene on her body and she protected her breast. She breastfed this child. When people were talking about breastfeeding in emergency, I stood up and spoke about domestic violence, which is an everyday emergency for women. This child has been breastfed. They have moved to UK. He is a pediatrician. Sonika, slides are not moving. Sonika. I have promoted breastfeeding through traditional art forms and won a lot of awards. For want of time, I can't show you the video of that. And then my crusade against corruption. This is the Honorable Justice M.S. Venkatachala of Lokayukta. He's no more. What I want to stress to this young children is keep fighting, perseverance. When you give up and say, my God, Abhaya will happen, Nirbhaya will happen every day, we have to keep our antenna up and work for the cause. This is the woman who is always multitasking. Remember, we have to promote this. Your health starts from the womb. When you're talking about gender-based violence, etc., please tell those men out there that your health depends on the womb, which unfortunately is with women. And, you know, I always used to feel very sad, women on the labor table, women in the OT, and I fought a lot of battles that the height, width of the labor cords were so narrow and the height was so horrible that they used to feel very uncomfortable. Hence, I chose for my hospital diploma in health and hospital management course, role of female birth attendants in enhancing breastfeeding rates after normal delivery. And then I went on to do a publication. And these are, you know, I struggled because nobody allowed the female birth attendant to come into the labor ward. I met the then mission director who gave permission against all odds. I was able to get the birth attendant to take care of this mother, and it had enormous impacts in breastfeeding. So it's not only helpful to her daughter relative, but she also becomes a peer counselor when she goes back to the community. Female birth attendant not only initiates, but also facilitates continuous and sustained breastfeeding. These were my recommendations. All of you try and do this in your hospital because our breastfeeding rates are abysmally low, especially in corporate hospitals. The corporate hospitals talk about birthing suite, all high funda celebration after the baby is born. Nobody knows how to put the baby to the breast while the baby is sent to the well baby room. The mother is supposed to take rest. Please go through this technique, which is published in Indian Pediatrics, which help babies who have difficulty in breastfeeding. I've done a study that even less than 1.5 kgs babies do wonderfully well in a hospital. This was a hospital-based study. We could not publish it, with the red circumference increasing and doing very well. Dr. Elizabeth and myself with Sandhya Katse, etc. We are with a group called National Nutrition in Pediatric Clinical Practice. They keep on asking questions, can this baby breastfed, etc. And transition to survival. Dear friends, have gone through, transition to survival. My only child, born after a difficult conception, which now I know was due to insulin resistance, the so-called PCOS. His adolescence was turbulent. I almost lost him. He made 3 suicidal attempts, each attempt being much more graver than the previous one. Yet he survived. I always send my prayers to God, and today he's most recognized. And they call him a life coach, and he has been helping a lot of youngsters through his column, Soch with Coach. The recent article which he wrote, a letter from an august man to his deceased female doctor, has brought a lot of responses. And he continues to write and help all kinds of adolescents, even without my knowledge. In the middle of the night, he has gone out of the house and done so many things, helped them mentally, socially, psychologically, financially, and even with job placements. Oh my God, the politics in breastfeeding. I request all of you to read this book. When I was doing very well, people started feeling very jealous and they started working. They were not calling me for any conferences. I could never have a lecture in any conference, no teaching program, nothing. I want to tell you, there is so much of politics around us. I had to strive very, very much. And then that's a time when I started moving to the global scenario. And I was recognized there. They all recognized my work. And you can see all these people. Ray Davis has done a wonderful work on midwifery and doulas. And this is Rebecca. And this is Martha. She's done a wonderful work on gender issues in breastfeeding. And those are the other breast friends. Dr. Anwar Fazil, who's the founder of the World Alliance on Breastfeeding Action, is a wonderful human being. And he asked me to take greater assignments. And one of the offers that he gave me was women work in breastfeeding. I had to stay in Penang. At that point of my time, my father was not willing to send me away from India. And then I want you to note this is a beautiful thing which was called the Global Breastfeeding Quilt. And they had given us all the dimensions, and we all had to carry that picture. I had taken the picture of Yashoda Krishna and Yashoda, the front cover of my book. And we sat all through the night to stitch it on and make it into a quilt. And that brought us a lot of connectivity. We talked all through the night and we became great friends during the quilt. And these are the various people, late Miriam Lobach, who was the editor of the Pediatric Clinics of North America, 2003. She brought out 2 issues and all about breastfeeding, telling us the importance of breastfeeding, and other breast friends with whom I have interacted. And this is Sarah Amin. She's the Executive Director of World Alliance on Breastfeeding Action. And that's Elizabeth Helsing, who asked me to review her book called Understanding Breastfeeding and How to Succeed. She died at the age of 102 years. And Dr. Felicity Savage King, who's a director of World Alliance on Breastfeeding Action. Why am I trying to tell you all this? From local politics, it helped me to jump into international scenario, and I made a lot of breast friends. And there was this global initiative of mother support. They were so happy with me that they put me on the front page of this particular booklet. And I'm supposed to be who's who in the WABA's General Assembly. I talk a lot about Linda Smith. I don't know how many of you can see. She has spent her lifetime on finding out the stomach size of the newborn. And she gifted me with this beautiful pebble, which reminds me that the newborn stomach is only 20 ml. So you can Google, and I sat with Dr. David Clark of the International Labour Organization on a paternity act. And this is Talukdar from Bangladesh. And this is Ines Fernandez from Philippines. We have all worked very hard. I'm very, very grateful to my breast friends with whom I still keep contact. This was a traditional night, and I have a terrible inferiority complex about my looks. I must confess, Dr. Ritu Gupta, who's bought Amitabh Bachchan's house in Halabad, Dr. Poonam Bhatia, and Madhu Raturi, my trustworthy friends, kept pushing me to participate in Femme Pedicon. Believe me, that was the first time I've ever walked in a ramp walk. And this is people appreciating me and writing letters to me. Those days, I did not have an email, so I used to get nice parcels, etc. I'm the founder trustee of a lactation helpline. I'm the first person to have thought of it. And I must confess, I've been able to help a lot of women through this helpline. I now hand it over to my daughter-in-law, who's also become an MIYCN and helps me out in my lactation helpline. I must say, when I met Dr. Shashivani, she's my mentor in the kangaroo mother care movement. When I met Professor Cyril Schindler, and he told me about the butterfly effect, a small effect can have major consequences. I immediately came back to Vani Vilas, and there was a room with dumped iron furniture next to the NICU. Anita knows about it. I had to fight with the management. If a small baby died, they would tell me because I'd started the KMC ward, all this happened. It started off as a simple 7-bedded KMC ward, and today they have 50-bedded KMC ward because we are coming in the way of critical periods of brain growth. I request all of you to go through all this. It's very, very interesting. And Nathalie Chapak was a Colombian founder and director of the Congo Foundation. While I was struggling to stick the KMC bag, she just took something like the leggings. She cut the legs, the upper part. She said, this is it. This is KMC bag. She taught me a lot about the KMC bag and how to go about doing KMC, even in the smallest of the small child. Once I knew that keeping mothers and babies together prevents infection, enhances bonding. Because, I was going on asking everybody to read the book, The Men Who Rape. And in that book, there are certain nitty-gritty details where the child has never been bonded with his mother. And he has seen gruesome acts happening in the house. And it facilitates breastfeeding, establishes circadian rhythm, ensures mother is the best monitor, less chance of ADHD, better sleep pattern, better circadian rhythm. And I always used to ask Anita, she used to say thermal asymmetry. When the baby is put in the KMC and when the temperature is high, and the baby will start wriggling out of the KMC bag. And remember, the temperature of the lactating breast is 38 degrees centigrade, like the amniotic fluid in the womb of the baby. These are all great people who have done wonderful work in KMC. And this is the story of Malika. They have named her as Yashaswini. Occasionally, they were keeping in contact with me. She was born 700 kgs. And then her first birthday, they came to celebrate in my chamber, 7 kgs. This mother stayed with us for 100 days in KMC. These are some of my publications. My goal in life is demystification of medicine to the common man. We have so much to do for the common man. So I try to reach out to them through my various books. And this is my book. This was the picture which is there in the breastfeeding quilt. If you do Google, you'll find about it. And then I wanted somebody to write about my book, Breastfeeding the Basic Instinct. Whatever book I wrote, it was my friend who published. I did not have proper promotion. I landed up losing a lot of money in the meantime. And I'll talk about it. Kushwant wrote about my book, Breastfeeding the Basic Instinct. It was my tryst with destiny. I spent an evening with him in his house in Khan Market in Delhi. And he told me, why should I write about breastfeeding? I said, sir, do you know why women have 2 breasts? Why breast is considered as an attractive organ? Oh, then I must read it. And then he came and picked me up and took me for lunch. And when he knew that I was a vegetarian, he really felt very bad and also made fun of me that I don't drink. And next day morning, he took me to a vegetarian South Indian restaurant. And I really miss him because he used to write letters to me in postcard. I don't know, have a funny connect with some people. And then this whole calendar has been designed by my son, Breastfeeding, the magic only a mother can do. I was just thinking it would be so nice that if we had this calendar in all languages of the country, in government offices. When the present PM's office came up, I wrote to them. I followed it for a while, but you know how things fall off. Therefore, I just want all of you to say, keep pursuing. Don't give up for the cause of that community, which is so much dependent on you. I have written my real life experience, compiled it, It was a column in a national, in a state diary, and then it became a book. And I wrote it in English. I was able to give few copies, to share a copy with Dr. Elizabeth and Dr. Swati Bave Madam. And this book was a very big hit. Somebody wanted to make a serial, and that also died. And please watch this movie. Now it is there in Prime Video, Harivu, which won the National Award. This particular book story is based on my real life experience with this child. This was the only child of a widowed father. The father's name was Muniyappa. The child's name was Hanumantappa. He had rheumatic heart disease, and the heart is literally coming out of his web cage. The father could not afford treatment, and finally he had to sell his 1 gunta, hardly a patch of land. And then he brought this child, and we lost this child. Unfortunately, the child stayed with us for about 15 days. Every day I was counseling and telling the father no hopes of his survival. And then when the child died, he wanted to bury his child in the little piece of land that he had. He did not have a wife. He was only one for him, for everything for him. And he said, I have to take this child to my village. He was such a person with a lot of egos. We all wanted to help him out, but he refused. Finally, he brought a big trunk, made out of aluminum. He put the child in that trunk and carried him on his head, got into a KSRTC bus and reached his town. Even today, no ambulance will ferry a dead body if the villagers have to take it to their roots. And I have given multiple representations, but nothing is happening in this area. It's so unfortunate when a child dies, and either you have to leave it in the mortuary, or you cannot carry the child and do it with all the burials. Despite we are very sensitive people, we have a lot of beliefs in our own practices. You could have just said, leave this child alone. Therefore, please watch this movie to know what happened. And this is the actor in that movie, Sanchari Vijay. He's acted wonderfully as a father of that boy. His name is Sharanappa. And he met with a fatal accident during the COVID times. He was a fantastic actor who's got national award along with Kangana Ranawat. We were planning many things, but his end came very soon. I wrote this book, NICU Companion, after spending nearly 18 years as a chief of neonatology in Vani Villas, which is supposed to be the center with largest number of deliveries in the state of Karnataka. Again, I did not know how to market this book. And then Indira Gandhi Hospital, I call it as my karma bhumi. My father, from the time he returned from the Great Ormond Street Hospital, he was desperate to start a child health institute where there was a comprehensive super specialty government hospitals. Today, you're talking about specialty and super specialty hospitals, but this man had thought about it way back in the 1980s. He was all the time dreaming of starting this place. And I'm supposed to be his lucky person. And he always says, Asha, you're my hope. And the donation out of the first 4, the 5th receipt is mine. I was one of the person who donated for this. And he single-handedly raised crores of rupees amid turbulence from his enemies. They didn't want this place to come up. And then he told the government, I have 8 crores. Now can I start? And that was when the institute was started. I became a victim of circumstances. I was very happy. Again, Dr. Anita knows my roots with Vani Villas Hospital. And I was doing extremely well. And if I had stayed on in Vani Villas Hospital, I would have become the director of Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute, which is what it is called now. Before it was called Bangalore Medical College. I was walking around. I spent a lot of time right from the 1964 in the premises of Vani Villas when my father was a professor of pediatrics, then head of the department, and became a medical student. At one point of time, he called me and said, Asha, I'm very unhappy. My dreams are unfulfilled. And he said, Indira Gandhi has an open competition to apply for the director post. And he begged me, literally he begged me and said, please apply for the post of the director. Before I close my eyes, I want this institute to grow. He was in his twilight years. I applied for the post in 2020, lost to corruption, codes, And I have reapplied again in 2015, and I became the director, and I have suffered a lot. I'm sure at that point of my time, my sugars would have been 400 to 600. My father told me, with all the gold medal and with all your achievements, if we can't prove Nyaya, Niti, and Dharma, then what is the use? All youngsters, in fact, some of my BMC students started telling me, Madam, despite your academics and publications, there was a headline in the paper saying, gold medals and publications at no director post. Then my father took out his pension checkbook and wrote 2 lakhs and told me, go to court. My court battle has been extremely costly, and I've shared some of the confidential things with some of my very good friends with the Women Pediatrician Forum. I started this, dear friends, please think of some programs like so many modules, fantastic modules Himabindu did, but we have not reached the community. I started this program called the Community Professional Responsibility. Every Thursday in Indira Gandhi, that's me and that's a dietitian there. We did an actual demo of preparation of complementary food. We involved the mothers, and there was so much of improvement in the nutrition of this children. We talk so much about, we have a burden of obesity and malnutrition. And then with all the things that happened, at ICH got the Dawns of Healthcare Award. The people in this, I call Indira Gandhi a different kind of island, and the people working there are totally different. For all and sundry reason, they would call the media and create a lot of problems for me. And there were times when I was just hanging around for some more time, and I went and put up my resignation. The then additional chief secretary said nothing doing. I believe she's the person who has written in my confidential reports an outstanding personality. She wanted me to stay on, but then political games changed it for me. The people who supported me in my tornado of IGI journey, Dr. B.N. Gangadhar, some incident happened with Nimmans, the current chairperson of NMC, and Miss V. Manjula, who was additional chief secretary of Government of Karnataka. I was so blessed to have this non-corrupt people, and they were always with me, and at a drop of a hat, they would come and help me. I was tortured, tormented, and troubled immeasurably. Honesty has too many enemies. I had taken this picture for this little hammock where the baby was put. All these trees now are chopped off. And I call Indira Gandhi as my karma bhumi. And it is such an unfortunate thing that my father just gave me 1 year and I had to pay him his last check. He was drawing a salary of 5,000 as Professor Emeritus. We calculated the number of days he had come. And this was his last check. And this was his interview in the first week of September and the last photograph. A man who was always very supportive to me. And once I lost him, I started having panic attacks and I was really lost. And, I used to sit down in my rocking chair in my bedroom. Dr. Elizabeth ma'am has seen that, and put my hand below my nose and see if I'm breathing. That was an enormous connectivity we had. Friends and soulmates without whom you can never live in life. Dr. Nagamani Elmencheli, our friendship spanning 4 decades. An extraordinary friend, pampered me and helped me with my complexes and gifts. She has been helped me through my path. And there were times, today I'm openly say, there were times when I couldn't even afford a proper sari. And every year, for the past 30 years, she used to send me 2 saris, one for my birthday and one for my wedding anniversary. And I had to beg her, Nagmani, I get more depressed. Where will I wear the saris? Now she has stopped saris and sending me dresses because she says, Asha, you look so slim and beautiful. A wonderful friend whom I can always rely upon. And anytime I need any finances, it has not happened so far. She always tells me, I'm there for you. This store is the name I want to give it to. Himabindu is a name of unconditional familial love. A new name, just like I found limerence, is protective and kinship based. Is the love you feel for someone even when you don't like them. It is usually driven by familiarity. Dear friends, take chances when you're young so that you can tell stories like what I'm telling you when you're old. Dr. Himabindu Singh, a remarkable friend whose exceptional organization skills and academic expertise shine brightly. I learned life lessons as a star campaigner in the elections. I'm so sorry, Hima, you could not win it. She's my knowledge challenger, my learning enhancer, and connector. She could have done a wonderful job. Even now, she has not given up. But I feel very sad. I learned the nuances of politicking, so-called good friends, how they ditched me during this election. Dr. Elizabeth, she is a rock star, my nutrition queen. I'm so glad that she's now my very close friend. I always used to admire her. And then she keeps saying surprises, surprises. Her hospitality, I spent 2 days in her house, is enormous. Dr. Madhu Raturi, the sari which she gave me, I'm wearing it today. Dr. Sangita Lodha, full of energy, bubbly person. And she says, Asha ma'am, call me when you're depressed. Friends for eternity. And thanks to Hima, don't forget the twinkle in our eyes. October 15 was a devastating day. Lost my soulmate of 50 years who lost the battle to cancer. And then I really had struggled. It was a South Pedicon in Belgaum. I finished my talk and rushed out crying. And Dr. Elizabeth madam caught me and I told her, please leave me alone. This is my beautiful, wonderful friend. We used to play cricket together. My God, if I have to talk about Rupal Dalal, she told me to, I said, I'm talking about teas. She said, add the twinkle in my eyes, I believe. And my journey was very tough. And now I become very trendy, having gray hair, a brand new soulmate. We differ. Whenever she comes to Bangalore, she wants me to take her on a spiritual path. We go to temples. She's a great believer in Lord Hanuman. She's my healer. I relearned, you saw all the global connect I had with the breast friends. I relearned maternal, infant, and young child nutrition thrice. Girls, don't worry, she won't let me die. My daughter-in-law, somebody asked me why the blue color. I didn't know how to make it red, but now you know, breastfeeding, breast milk is pearl blue in color. The person behind she's my real Dil, the transformation, my angel. She has been now given the job of writing a book on low-carb recipes by Rupal. And together, we are partners in crime and crusaders. We want to universalize low carbs and high fats. This is one of the demo we had for 30 people who went through a metabolic health group. You know about my journey, and you saw somebody had taken this photograph for me. Thank God. And I never knew that insulin is progressive increase in insulin resulted in lipogenesis and fat accumulation all over my body. These are my various transformations with respect to metabolic health. I would not like to call it diabetes, reversal or remission. I would like to call it metabolic health. This is how the transformation has taken place. And oh, what a journey it was. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. So please think of all this. What is my religion? Simplicity, humility, and humanity. Yesterday, I was trying to do this webinar in my college, and then there were so many issues with the net connectivity. One of my colleagues, he told me, Asha ma'am, you're so simple. You don't know what you are, but I have learned this. And this is my religion, and this is not my religion. As soon as you're born, you're given a name, a religion, a nationality, and a race. You spend the rest of your life defending a fictional identity. My path had too many obstacles, not a carpet of roses, but a carpet of thorns. I won a 100-meter dash wearing 100 kgs on my legs and yet won the race. Alas, if only people had encouraged me, maybe I would have achieved and helped the community, not my personal goals. And I was focused and worked very hard to reach my social concerns. These are some of my famous sayings: money pays and corruption works. Forgetfulness is a boon and memory is a curse. I remember every bit, even at plus 66. And I find it very difficult, when to forget people who have done the last thing. Anita knows about the chip-in philosophy. I have not left any patient die for want of money. I would take a basket or something, and I will put the first 500 or 5,000 depending upon the requirement. And in no time, it would be full. And we have helped innumerable patients in Vanivilas Hospital. And then my unfinished agenda, I was doing my child rearing by working mothers, my PhD. I had to write my thesis, and the environment around was so toxic. They ensured that I didn't write it by giving me more responsibility, putting me on duties, not permitting leaves, etc. I hope all of you know that I had to give up my DM seat because my mother said enough of education, and I was married. I was thinking sometime I will do MRC, PCH, but even that did not happen. But I encouraged my students to take it up. This was my last batch of postgraduates in Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Health. When I retired from government service, it was a very painful adieu. My assets, teaching is a passion for me, and my students are my only assets. My prayers, children of the poor are God's children. Hence, taking care of them will reach me to God. Trance and tranquility is my final journey. My virtues or vices, you can call them, compassion, dedication, sincerity, honesty, straightforwardness, I call a spade a spade. Vanivilas Children's Hospital, attached to Bangalore Medical College, is my Matrubhumi. I was the last aborigine. This is with Dr. Anita in front of the entrance of the campus. There's a beautiful Baswa temple, which was built by my father. And this is Anita. She came home to show me her gold medals when she got during her post-graduation. Another beloved first student, Dr. Shilpa. And there's a beautiful sari, which I never take from my students, but Anita was insistent, given by Anita. I thank you, Anita, for being a moderator for me during this emotional journey. And did you know there exist human libraries where you can check out humans instead of books? Hima Bindu has connected all of us. You're all brilliant books with whom I can share. I've been calling up some of you when I have been very low. And then child first and always. This was a mission of the great Ormond Street Hospital. Look at that beautiful mother and the beautiful child. Thank you all. Yes?
Madam, you need a standing ovation, you know. I'm just really
Yes.
brilliant.
I finished on time. I was very worried about the time.
No, you have finished in time.
Yes.
Dr. Anita, question answer time, session time. We have 11 minutes. Any questions from the audience? The forum is open for all.
I truly haven't heard anything so brilliant in my journey as a pediatrician. So many orations one has heard, but nothing has been quite like this. I wish I could have given you a salute and a standing ovation, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you so much for remembering me. You really, tears came out from my eyes. You're so close to my heart, and I don't know how I touched you. And I'm there always for you and all of you. Thank you so much.
We all are with you, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
All with you.
May I ask you a question, Dr. Asha?
Yeah.
What was that one thing within you which helped you to overcome the enormous challenges that you faced? You know, what is that one quality which you will say that helped you to overcome you had a life which was full of challenges.
You know, it was my desperation to reach the community. I said, what the hell am I doing with MD pediatrics if I can't reach the community? I'll give you a simple example. Himabindu's preconception care and create module is so fabulous. I just sat with a few mothers and I spoke to it, and there were so many people who are having anemia, so many issues we could discuss. You know, we do modules after modules, we do community ke saath baat, nothing is happening. And I was telling, what is this? And then Health Secretary was Mr. Gautam Basu. I was telling him that I have no encouragement. What shall I do? And then, Nirmala Kesi also told me, take up the issue of breastfeeding. You'll become a global person because nobody is bothered about it. And when I started becoming famous, the IYCF chapter of Karnataka, there were some members, the BPNI people threw me out. I mean, the local, not Arun Gupta. Whatever I am today is because of Arun Gupta. I was thinking, what the hell am I doing? Every night when I used to sleep, how do I read that community? So different thoughts came into my mind. And corporate social responsibility, when you talk about it, why don't we have a community professional responsibility? Even in my current place as head of the Department of Pediatrics at Dr. Chandrabada Anand Sagar Institute of Medical Education and Research, have tremendous support. I'm doing so many things. So it is that drive. If I don't do this, this will happen. And the same thing my son is doing. He's very disturbed with Abaya's death. He's going on telling me, Amma, think of something, this should not happen again. And the next day morning, you read something in the NCC camp. So unless we pursue, unless the drive to reach those people, it is my drive to reach the community.
Fantastic. So I would just say the purpose of life, I think when we pursue our purpose of life, we are always living. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, you have found your ikigai.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, after listening to your journey, I'm just simply speechless. You are a role model to all the people who are having difficult life. This is more than difficult. Are you writing a book on your journey?
Yeah, I'm planning. I've written half and half. I don't know what
it is needed.
I think it's too late. My end is coming or something like that. This is the stone which Linda Smith gave me to remind me of the stomach size in the newborn. I've preserved it over some 30-40 years.
You have preserved so many things. I just hope that gradually you just remember the good things, and also maybe those bad things happen, and that is why who you are. I mean, if you are such a great personality and Jan of our group, it is because you've been through that. We say ash is carbon, all diamonds and carbons are all, ash, coal is the same compound. It is a high temperature and pressure which makes coal diamond. So you are a diamond, you shine like diamond. So I hope those bad memories and bad times are no longer disturbing you.
Yes.
And I hope that you to take these things as a stepping stone for your current position. So I hope you never feel depressed, sad, or have any anxiety or depression again. But
yes,
to be more energetic, more joyous, more happy, more fulfilling after your experiences. So we don't want you to be feeling depressed at any time now. Promise that. Dr.
Yes,
Asha,
you're all
that.
there, no? You're all there for me. That's exactly what I said. We
are there for you, but you have to be there for yourself because you are the strongest amongst all.
Yes.
So promise that you won't have any negative feelings now.
Yes, definitely.
Who is
Promise.
speaking?
Promise.
Keep your video on.
Good girl, good girl.
Okay.
Ma'am, I would like to add one thing. I'm Dr. Kiran from Jaipur. Ma'am, silently you are inspiring many of us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Because it's very difficult. People don't come up, don't share. And the way you share it, it really inspires and gives us the strength. Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely.
Hello, dear Asha. Yes, well-found. We are so happy that WPF has given this opportunity for all of us to listen to at least part of your journey. I know you have done much more than this and you have much more to say. I think there should be a session 2 of this. Your work with the adolescent girls and the Devadasis and the children who come with POXO cases. So much you have done. Your courage is amazing courage you have. And that's why you could overcome all these things. And you are with us. It's a big support for all of us.
Okay, madam.
Thank you so much. We love you, Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we love you a lot.
I think this is the time for photographs. So you all keep your video on, and then Dr. Preeti Singh will give us vote of thanks. So, Pallavi ji, will you take a photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Take all three sessions, three part of this. Yeah. Now over to Dr. Preeti.
Wonderful.
For giving vote of thanks.
Anita, you have any?
Want to say something?
Anita, please, if she has something to say. Anita?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anita, unmute yourself.
Dr. Raksha wanted to post a question. Can we hear from Dr. Raksha?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
No? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So, yeah, if Dr. Raksha is not here, then yeah. I want to ask AD ma'am, yeah, about, ma'am, what is that one piece of advice that you want to give all the young pediatricians out there in the Women Pediatrics Forum? What is that one piece of advice that you want to give all the women pediatricians?
Let us all be connected. Let us be frank, and we should focus. Ultimately, pediatrics, you became a pediatrician not to earn money. Let's bring down increase the breastfeeding rates. Let's bring down the malnutrition. Let's prevent. Everything happens in the womb. We will all connect. You have a forum. You have seen that I never got any opportunities in any of those high-funda national conferences. And when I asked you to come here, I said, Women Pediatrician Forum is going to be your diving board or whatever. Okay? So we'll all connect. We'll work together. It is community, Anita, that matters. And I remember Abdul Razak always telling me, what is this community? And then one fine day he told me, now I understand what you mean by community, all our learnings. And keep yourself academically updated. Because when I learned from Rupil, the cross-cradle technique, and when we started fighting about that 125 grams per week, and the baby does not lose weight, I worked on it for 3 years. I took her course 3 times. I wanted to score 100, but it didn't happen. Then I relearned with all those luminaries in the breastfeeding field. I seem to have missed out on something. If I had not done Rupil's course, I would not have learned so many things. And I'm doing very well, and I feel very guilty. What happened to those children whom we did not teach them so many things? Again, Rupil said, because you updated yourself, come on, let's do from now onwards. Please read the community. Your fancy degrees, our gold medals, nothing matters. I specifically requested you not to talk about my awards and all that, because it doesn't matter at all. It comes automatically. If you have not read the community, what is the use of your damn awards or gold medals?
Very true.
Dr. Neha Agarwal has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am, I
please.
should rightly call you the Joan of Arc, actually. And I just have a single question for you. And amongst all the adversities you faced, what kept you going? What was the only shining light which you found, and which made you, just face all the adversities with a smiling face?
No, I wasn't smiling. I have had very, very tough times, especially my journey in Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Health. There was a long-standing battle. They gave it to a media, and a child which fell down from the 4th floor of a building and died, and they blamed it on me. And they gave money to the media people to keep it going on for 3 months. And at the end of it, the media person came to my chamber and he told me, I'm very sorry. I should not have done this for you, for the payments I got from all your colleagues in this great institute. And that was the time I had lost my father, remember? And that's the time I said, my God, why so many enemies? Corruption, no, has lots of friends. Sincerity doesn't have friends. And I have been down. I have attempted suicide. My daughter-in-law never allows me to stay at home alone, because it's been very, very bad time. And that's one of those nights when I sent all kinds of messages to Himabindu. I still have those messages. She kept on telling me, one at a time, we are there for you. And that's why when we started doing the WW branch, we were so dejected. Then we are now a very powerful organization. These are the people who keep motivating me. Kiran Didi in a very different way. Madhu, all of them, Elizabeth Madam, everybody, they have been motivating me. You need that kind of friends, those who are not jealous of your achievements. We have so much to do. If I've done something in breastfeeding, somebody else take it up. Like Preeti. Once I sent a message to Preeti, I'm down. She said, Asha, ma'am, you are resilient. And then I looked up the dictionary years ago. What does resilient mean? It means strong. So we have created a forum for you. We are all there for you. So this is how we connect and communicate and reach the mother and child here. I don't know about the father, but the mother and child definitely need our help.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, can I ask you one question, Asha?
Yeah. Where are you? Yes.
So I was listening to your story, and I think everybody's story, if everybody is asked to, if they had somebody to articulate, your articulation was excellent and brilliant. And to think that you learned your English from BBC was very interesting. And for some reason, I've noticed even my sister-in-law, she studied in a Hindi medium for quite some time. And then subsequently, she went on to study English. And I studied in a convent school. And 100% her English is much, much better than me. So I think people who try to learn later in life, they feel that they are behind and they do probably better than people who are complacent and they think that they know. Second thing is, I'm sure there is, if you talk to so many women, most of them would have stories like you where they had to face a lot of problems and then come out of it. That's a story that you hear from so many women that you would see. My question to you is, losing weight, was that a change gamer in your life? Because did you gain confidence after you acquired a personality? Because from your talk, it was very clear that they have been coming from one of the best families, which were highly educated. Yet, I don't want to know why, but the whole story depicted that you did not get what you thought you should for some time. And then, because there was reasons why it happened to you. And then trying to get into those case and everything else. But what I know about you is only in the last 1 year that I've seen you working with your heart out for Hima. And then you just appeared like an angel in my life without any reason. And, if I had to talk in the women forum of 5 people who actually truly connected to me and asked me, you are one of those 5 in that finger. And even I have like thousands of people out there. But as you rightly said, it is time which is going to teach you about what this is all about. And so one thing good about you is you reach out to people and you believe in justice, you believe in your voice, and very simple things matter to you. So was it a change in your personality that gave you this confidence? What was it that changed your life? Because what I understand is this was not Asha. What you see Asha today was not the same old Asha. Am I right or wrong? Correct it and justify.
No, losing weight was immaterial. Many of my men admirers are very disappointed with my weight loss. Okay, I have been I did not want to be very naughty. Even in my global meets and all that, people have liked me the way I was. Absolutely nothing. It improved my health. It's a whole lot of happiness when you had to get off your 60 units of insulin per day. And I have bleeding diathesis. And every poke of my insulin was giving me petica and purpuras. Losing weight had nothing to do. I was focused. I'm a very independent person. That is why I started off with solitude. And that's why I said the title of my book would be Solitude. I hardly had any support till Hima started the WPF and all that, except till 2016. My father was my greatest support. After his death, it was a very tough journey for me. I didn't know whom to talk, whom to trust, like that. So losing weight was not at all.
So I think the moral of your entire story, if I had to
Sum it
say
up.
is friends is the essence of life. Because you are saying that there was no change in your personality, whether your health was not changed for the personality. So the change in you, or the happiness that you got, was through friends. Ultimately, when you could talk, communicate, and connect. So besides this, we connect friends. Did you not have good friends in life?
No. Because
so that is the
let me
essence
tell you what
of the
I'll tell
story.
you. Professional friends were very jealous of me. I used to get very jealous. I get very bored with this housewife types. They talk about their jewelry, their shopping, and all the time bitching about their either the husband or the mother-in-law. And I have, recently, I forget, Kerala had done a course on adolescent, and Dr. Sureka, she was telling me that I'm like a child. And they got an analysis done from me during that course. MK Sinha used to come, say, I have a child's ego. So I'm very close to my postgraduate students. Even now I have a group called the Asha and the PG student and her students. I don't know. I could never, my superiors were very jealous of my honesty because I was not part of the corruption angle. And contemporaries, they just threw me out of the breastfeeding movement in the state and the national politics. But I managed to do, I keep doing. Now, where is Asha, they ask. I said, I'm busy with my adult nutrition. Me and my daughter-in-law, we have taken out of what fantastic dishes she makes with low carbs. People say low carbs is so boring. And we are doing so much work and people are losing weight like 10, 15 kgs when women who did
So I think the two messages is,
yes,
one is friendship,
yes,
and one is what I always say, happiness comes from two things. One is friendship and giving to others. Because people ask me, why do you work like crazy 17 hours a day? And when you've got everything, and the answer is, when you give to others, you get happiness. So that's what you did in life. Cheers to you.
I think the time is over. So, Preeti Singh, madam, you just take the lead now for giving good thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Preeti Singh, feel honored and privileged to offer vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Asha Benakappa ma'am, who spared time from her busy schedule to spare time to grace the occasion. Today, we had the opportunity to hear her thoughts about her life journey, and this surely will be going to encourage us in our life. We will try to cultivate this in our real life, and you are inspiration to all of us, ma'am. I also want to extend my thanks to Dr. Hema Bandhu Singh, ma'am, and Dr. Sangita Lodha, ma'am, for encouragement and efforts in making this event a successful one. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Anuradha Sandhya, ma'am, for her enormous support and guidance. With deep sense of appreciation, I thank Dr. Elizabeth, ma'am, Dr. Srilekha Joshi, ma'am, Dr. Narmada Ashok, ma'am, for their tireless efforts. A special mention to Dr. Preeti Galgali, ma'am, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Anita for being acting as a moderator and acting as a catalyst for making her a grand success. I express my gratitude to Dr. Poonam ma'am for her tireless efforts. I would like to thank youth adolescents for active participation. Last but not least, a big thank you to our audience who made this a successful one. Thank you so much.
And thanks to Pallavi also, who has just made it very flawless program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pallavi ma'am, for making this a successful one.
Yeah. So I think now this
Thank
is the time to wind up, and thank you.
Ma'am,
And
Asha
we will just
madam,
post
thank
the
you.
link
Thank you.
in
Bye
all the
bye.
social media. And
people are asking why August month, because breastfeeding week. August is a breastfeeding month. That's why. That's why.
Asha ma'am, I thought August is the month of friendship also.
Yeah.